I, too, agree that this is a rather blunt instrument and a more strategic use of bringing some leverage to this kind of action would be a more appropriate path, and hope on future times when we have a chance to review foreign arms sales that we would take that more nuanced approach. Madam President, I want to speak to this issue, while I agree with much of what the senator from Connecticut has said, from a slightly different perspective. And that is the message that, at least inadvertently, we will be sending with approval of the sale of these jets. And let me again commend Senator Corker and Senator Cardin for appropriately looking at the issue of public financing of these sales. But if we move forward with these sales without putting some markers down, I think we potentially not only do damage to holding Pakistan's feet to the fire in terms of the threat of terrorists in Afghanistan and elsewhere in the region, but also potentially could do damage to one of the most important relationships our country has, and that is the strategic relationship between the United States and India. This relationship has been one of enormous growing importance. India has been a valuable and strategic partner of the United States and is a tremendous ally in promoting global peace and security. That's not always been the case. Relations between our two nations have been steadily improving over the past decade, ranging from approvals of the civilian nuclear agreement to frequent coordination between our militaries, and at this point, over $100 billion in bilateral trade. Prime Minister Modi in India has made a personal commitment to improving the ties between the United States and India. The Prime Minister will come back to the United States at the end of this month. Nowhere is the potential for our strategic relationship greater than in our bilateral defense relationship, which again has seen great progress over the past decade. Last year, our two nations signed the framework that will advance military-to-military exchanges. We're also proceeding with joint development of defense technology, which seeks to increase defense sales and create a cooperative technology and industrial relationship that can promote both the capabilities in the United States and in India. So I viewed with some concern last month when the administration announced the sale of these 8 F-16s to Pakistan. And again, I want to commend the leadership of the Foreign Relations Committee for making very clear that even if this sale should go forward, the financing of this sale is still subject to further American review. What brings me to willingness to support Senator Paul's resolution is the fact that as recently as January of this year, Pakistani-based terrorists claimed responsibility for an attack against an Indian military base at Putakan. This Air Force base, which resulted in the attack and killing of Indian military forces, was, I think, a great tragedy. And so far, Pakistan has refused to share intelligence or to turn over those suspects to the Indian government. With those kind of actions, I cannot go ahead and continue this policy where we continue to, in effect, give Pakistan a pass, whether it is actions in the region, vis-a-vis Afghanistan, or within their own country, but also in terms of their unwillingness to meet India even halfway in terms of trying to bring a greater stability to one of the regions that could potentially be a tinderbox in terms of the border regions between India and Pakistan. So I will be supporting Senator Paul's resolution. I hope that the government in Pakistan hears the concern of this senator and other senators. I hope they will act aggressively in terms of bringing to justice those terrorists who invaded Indian space and attacked the Indian Air Force Base. Showing that kind of responsible behavior might lead to at least this senator taking a different view in terms of future military sales.